Hey everybody, it's Pepe with Suzi in Hollywood, and we're drinking
Guanabana.
Guanabana. I call it Guanabana. It's also known as Graviola and Soursop. And she just made this, and let me tell you, it's from her tree, and it's so delicious. And the best part I'm really proud of is, where'd you get this tree?
I got this from Pepe about 6 years ago, and it has just done amazing. It constantly has flowers on it, and I'm starting to get nice crops of fruit off of it now.
Wow, I'm so happy. I mean, she called me the other day and we were chatting, and then she remembered and she said, Pepe, the tree, and I suggested to come out to her place here in Hollywood. It's a beautiful little home here in Hollywood. The soil here is really sandy. The tree's in a great spot, and it's just doing fabulous. So I was so happy that she invited me over, and it's okay to do this video with you. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, good. Well, we'll be back in a minute, and then we'll talk a little more to Suzi, and we'll share some tips about how she grows this Guanabana tree right here in South Florida. All
Cheers.
right, cheers. All right, so we're back here with Suzi in Hollywood talking about her tree, and I want to ask her just a couple of quick questions here. What got you interested in the Soursop tree? I mean, why did you end up buying the tree? Is there any specific reason why you did that?
Well, I believe in doing healing naturally. I am a nurse, but anything that you can do natural as opposed to taking medications. And I had done some research, and I learned that down in the islands south of us, that the Jamaicans take the leaves off of this tree, dry them out, and make tea. The tea supposedly not only prevents cancer, but also cures cancer. So I basically bought the tree for the leaves and the healing property of the leaves, which I have made. I dry out my leaves and I grind them up, and then I make tea with it. I let it steep 5 to 10 minutes before drinking. I have friends that over the years I've been sick, and I share my leaves with them. And I have one girlfriend now that's got 3 different diseases, started drinking the tea about 2 months ago, and she's already feeling better.
Wow, that's an amazing testimonial. And like, we're not here to give anybody any medical advice at all, even though she is a nurse, a real nurse, okay? And you always want to check with your own doctor. But I know for a fact, and Suzi knows for a fact, that there are so many people that we've run into that use a lot of herbal remedies, and particularly the Soursop has helped a lot of people. So again, we're not advocating that this is the way. This is just something for you to consider and think about, because we have met many people that have benefited from the Soursop plant.
Delicious.
It's really, really good, and we're enjoying these things. These are good. Now, I'll tell you another funny story. Check this out. I went to a friend of mine in Lake Worth about 4 years ago, and we had a very similar experience with the Soursop tree. And what I'm going to tell you now is going to be funny, because if we drink enough of these things, okay, without any alcohol, okay, don't have to have alcohol. If you drink these things and you drink 3 or 4 of them, guarantee you're going to be very relaxed. So if you hear me, kind of like my speech gets a little slurred here, it's because I'm drinking like my second one, and they do relax you. So have you found that they relax you as well without any alcohol? Have you ever heard people say that?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm going to have to try that.
You're going to have to try that. Well, I'll tell you that when you drink Guanabana without alcohol, you can still get quite a nice, relaxing kind of a buzz. It's really good for you, and it's very medicinal. All right, we're going to move around the tree here, and we're going to see if we get a little close-up of maybe a few fruit, because there's about, what, 2 or 3 left on it? Yeah. She got to all the fruit before I could get here. I kept promising I was going to come over, and I finally got here, and there's only like 2 fruit left. But there's a whole bunch of flowers, and I'm going to share a little secret with everybody, if you stay tuned, on how you can probably get more pollination, because pollination is really important, because Guanabana, Soursop trees, are very shy bearers. But this one got an amazing fruit, and it's so good. We'll be right back. All right, now here's a couple of things that are important about growing a Soursop tree. One of the things that is an issue with them in certain climates, like South Florida, believe it or not, is that they don't like it when it's a little bit chilly. And to them, anything in the 40-degree range, they catch a cold and sneeze, okay? Seriously, these guys don't like cold weather. So Suzi has it strategically located next to a wall here that kind of protects it a little bit from the wind, and it's in a little bit of a microclimate here in Hollywood, where there's a canal right on the left side of us here, and that little microclimate has made this tree grow very, very nicely over the years, because I think it's a little warmer out here, as opposed to like where I live. I'm way out west, and the evenings out there sometimes when we get to December and January can get pretty nippy. And have you ever lost the leaves because of a cold snap where all the leaves fell off?
Yeah,
Okay.
last winter and the winter before when we had them 2 cold snaps, but they came right back.
They came right back. They bounced back. And another thing, if you do have a tree that gets hit by the cold and it kind of loses all of its leaves, there's a tendency for people to like start watering it like crazy, and that's really not good. And then they water it like crazy, and then they start fertilizing, thinking that that's going to somehow rejuvenate the tree. It's not. It's going to make things worse. As a matter of fact, you want to ease up on water. You don't want to fertilize. You want to do anything. You want the tree to naturally come back if it's going to come back. And 9 out of 10 times they do. Now, she also has, well, can you show us that powder that you harvest from the trees? Okay, so this is a bag that I've seen in markets. Have you seen this sell in the markets a couple of times? What are they, a couple of bucks for this?
I see them sell a little bag, like maybe about the size of a deck of cards, but thinner.
So like something like that size, like about like that.
Yeah, very small.
Very small
For
little.
$7.99.
$7.99. Okay, and by the
And then
way,
if there's one a little tiny bit bigger, that one's like $11.99 or $12.99.
So there's quite a bit of soursop. How much of this would you use if you were going to make a tea?
Oh, only because it's so concentrated. Some people put the whole leaf in, and they put a whole bunch of leaves in, like 20, 30 leaves, and they let the water steep for like 10 minutes. But since this is all cut up so small and it's almost ground to like a tea consistency, like 1 to 2 teaspoons, depending on how strong you like your tea. It has a distinct lemon flavor. So it has a very nice flavor to it. It's not bitter.
Do you add anything to it besides, or just a little sugar maybe?
Sometimes I add like hibiscus leaves, or sometimes I'll dry oranges out in the dehydrator or something and add that in. Sometimes just plain. Sometimes if you want, after it's done, if you want to put just a little tiny bit of honey in it, or agave if it's a little too bitter for you. But again, it's almost like having a lemon tea.
That's very good. And this actually, it smells very nice.
Smells like
and
lemon.
It's very organic and very natural. And you steep it, it says here, for about 5 or 6 minutes on average, right? About 5 or 6 minutes you steep it?
And the longer the better. The longer you steep it, the more health benefits you're going to get from it.
How long can we keep this bag?
I was going to actually tell you when you get that home, if you can transfer it to a glass jar.
Okay.
At home, I usually keep my own in the mason jars.
Okay, so transfer to a glass jar and it'll last much longer.
Right, this is just for transportation.
Okay, well, thank you. This is a gift from Suzi. Appreciate that very much. I look forward to drinking this. I ran out, so she's helping me with a little extra, and that's terrific. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go around to the other side, and we're going to see if we could get some shots of the flowers and give you some tips on how you can get your trees to actually get better pollination, okay? Okay, so now on this tree, right now I'm going to show you with Suzi here, we're going to show you one of the fruit. Now this one's kind of small, but you said you got much bigger ones on there.
The first one I got was probably over 3 pounds. It was
you sent
huge.
me a picture of that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to look for that picture and I'm going to put it on here because I remember you're holding it and it's really big, and you're wearing a beautiful gold bracelet in that picture. Yep. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was a really big one. And then we've got that one over here, okay, and it's kind of like heart shaped and it's looking good. And there's another one in the back. Let me see if I can bring it forward and just move a little bit out of the way, and let's hope it's in the shot. I think you could see that one there. We've got another nice one over here. And the amazing thing is that there's still a whole bunch more fruit that's going to be coming because we've got flowers up there. And here's the thing I wanted to share with you guys, okay? And some of you know this and some of you may not know this. And now Suzi's going to know this and she's going to get even more fruit, okay? The pollination is always an issue, okay? Because not everything pollinates the Guanabana. It's basically the most important pollinator is a specific beetle. There's a specific beetle, believe it or not, that pollinates these trees. And they're around sometimes, but not enough. And sometimes they're not around at all. So you depend on other insects like some ants that'll come around and they'll do a little bit of pollination. But besides that, it's also tricky because the male flower and the female flower are on the same flower. In other words, the flower starts out one sex and then the following day in the afternoon changes to the opposite sex. So you have to have multiple flowers open on the tree that had opened on different days so that then the insects can actually do what they have to do to pollinate. But here's one trick that you can use that's pretty effective. If you get a little bit of basket, like a small little basket, and you put some fruit in the basket and you hang it near all these flowers, okay, a lot of fruit flies, small little gnats, you know, little things that are on like bananas when you leave them in the kitchen, and they'll start flying around and then they'll actually go visiting and it will help to pollinate. So you should try that because I've given that advice out to quite a few people and they've called me and said, hey, that actually worked. That was pretty good. So I learned that from an old timer, okay, who told me to do it, and you know, we just kind of passing along what we've learned. In any event, listen, I want to say thank you to Suzi for letting me come out and do this video and sharing it with everybody. I hope to do a few more videos like this with people who are growing fruit trees in their yard, and show you that you can actually grow your own fruit. And a lot of times, listen, you don't have to go crazy buying a whole bunch of chemicals. You don't have to buy a whole bunch of fertilizers. Suzi?
I use absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. It's nature, you know, it's going to happen. Now, if you run into a little problem once in a while, sometimes you might have to use something, and you can always call me and I'll try to give you guys any advice that I can, because sometimes it doesn't quite work out. But in this particular case, the conditions are perfect. Suzi's got a green thumb, okay? And I hope that you'll give us a thumbs up. Give us 2 thumbs up, one for me and one for Suzi, okay? And again, thank you for swinging by the channel. Subscribe to the channel, and if there's you know, any comments you want to leave, right there, leave a little comment, and if I don't know the answer, I'll ask Suzi. All right, thank you, everybody. We'll see you again in the future. Have a great one. Thanks, Suzi.
Thank you, Pepe.
Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
All right.
My
It was
pleasure.
great.